buttons. Go hit the like, share this out a little bit. Give us some hearts. Let's see who can get the most hearts to us. Let's do that.
Who loves me the most?
You might get a shout out if you give me the most hearts. How about that?
There you go. They have to be directly for Landon. You have to specify there for Landon.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's get right into it then. It's a quick pre-show there. Missouri. I don't know what they're going to look like. I honestly don't. Obviously, Barry Odom is no longer the coach. Eli Drinkowitz from... Is he Eli? Elijah? What does he prefer?
I'll just say Eli.
Eli? Nah, weird dude. Who knows? Eli Drinkowitz, first-year coach from App State. He was successful in his 2 years at App State, going 13-1 in 2019. That's a good program. I mean, I'm not doubting what he's done. He's also... he's was a part of a national championship team at Auburn in 2010. Kind of a Gus Malzahn follower, I guess. Kind of followed him around everywhere. Been to, I think, Central Arkansas with him as well, and stayed there. And then had another short stint with him at Auburn. But he's a guy that's I think people think he's an offensive genius. I don't know where to stand. He's had no real experience outside of being under Gus Malzahn and then 2 years at App State. I think he was offensive coordinator for maybe a year at Central Arkansas.
Okay.
But
that's it. I guess that's why they're playing Central Arkansas this season.
Who is?
Missouri.
Oh, they're playing them? Surely that was scheduled before then.
Oh, yeah, that might be right. I forgot they do that.
Oh, that's the first game. Who do I have written down? Okay, yeah. And then they play Eastern Michigan as well. Okay. Yeah. That was I didn't realize they had 2 cupcake games before.
But I just think this is 3 if you count Vandy. But I just think with this Missouri squad, there's a lot of question marks with them. You mentioned the head coach; he's also the offensive coordinator, so no more Derek Dooley. Sad. And it's going to be a new quarterback. Kelly Bryant's gone.
Yeah, and they don't. If you think Tennessee has questions about quarterback, I mean Missouri has questions about quarterback.
Yeah, because Kelly Bryant wasn't great.
I mean, but you knew Kelly Bryant was a starter. They have no clue who the starter is right now.
It's definitely going to be a quarterback competition, and I think they got a transfer from
TCU.
TCU, yeah, Sean Robinson, who I don't think played last year. I think he redshirted.
I guess he wasn't eligible.
Okay,
is probably what it was. From what all I couldn't find exactly. It seems like he transferred to Missouri probably prior to last year, and had to sit out. But I gotta imagine he's the favorite. He's probably had the most experience. He had a couple. I think he had like 2 good games at TCU. Outside of that, not much. But everybody else behind him, I think it was Taylor Powell that came in most of the time for Kelly Bryant last year. Was not very successful. And then Connor Bazelak tore his ACL, I think. I think he started the last game and tore his ACL. I imagine he's healthy by this point, or at least by the time the season starts. But I don't think that answers who's going to start at quarterback, because Eli Drinkowitz hadn't seen any of these guys. There is a freshman, but I don't know if Drinkowitz recruited him. Brody Cook. I don't know if he recruited him or if he was already a part of the class. I have no idea. So I don't think he necessarily has a comfort level with anybody. I don't think he's going to favor one quarterback over the other. And the 2 quarterbacks they've seen, one got injured in his first start. The other one was not successful when he played.
Yeah. They had a pretty decent defense last year. They didn't really get a lot of turnovers or sacks, but I think they were 6th in total defense in the conference.
They led the nation in allowed pass completion percentage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I was very shocked about, because their secondary wasn't outstanding. They did have their best linebacker got injured five games in, I think. Didn't get to play, but then his backup kind of came in and did better than they thought he would, and was able to make a pretty big impact. So they return. I think they really only lose Jordan Elliott is really their only loss defensively. Other than that, everybody else was
either not a factor.
Not a factor, or they're returning. One or the other. And then they have Roundtree returning at running back and Batty returning at running back, who are both, if they can find a decent quarterback and then their offensive line figures something out, because their offensive line is what ultimately probably got Kelly Bryant injured last year. Bad offensive line. They probably are going to have a decent offense.
Yeah, I think they have to return, or they returned 2 offensive linemen that started last year. You mentioned Roundtree. He's going to be their premier back, and then Tyler Beatty is kind of their all-purpose, do-it-all kind of guy. I think he had like 800 rushing, or like 400 rushing and 400 receiving.
I think he was their
8 touchdowns.
Their third or fourth leading receiver, and then everybody in front of him left though.
Okay.
So he's gonna right now. He's got to be one of their higher target guys. Thinking I think he's caught 80 passes maybe in his career, which is very high for a running back, a guy that's used as a running back. But they do have I think it's Jalen Knox, who didn't have a great sophomore year but had a really good freshman year, and he's returning for his junior year. But other than that, they did lose a lot of receiver too.
Yeah, they actually got a transfer receiver in Damon Hazelton from Virginia Tech. I think he was all ACC 2 years ago.
Okay.
So they are trying to add some guys, and I think they had the 57th best recruiting class coming in.
Yeah, they were. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But you added a playmaker and one of the fastest guys we've ever seen.
Yeah.
In high school, and Elijah Young, who, if Tyler Beatty is getting that much, attention within the offense, so rushing and receiving, maybe that kick return job is kind of open for Elijah Young to take over.
Maybe after looking at, and I don't know if he's expecting a red shirt necessarily, but I think after looking at this, and if you find if he's a playmaker in special teams, they're going to play him. If he's a playmaker on offense, they're going to play him. You don't set a playmaker for sake of saving a red shirt. But looking at the group of running backs Missouri has and the need they have immediately, it's not very high. I think there's a chance he redshirts.
Yeah, there is. I think Roundtree's a senior and Beatty would be a junior.
Yeah, they're older. They are older.
Yep. So, yeah, that would be probably ideal. I just think with this Missouri team, they don't have a proven quarterback.
Oh, it's going to be a rough season.
And not really a proven offense. They have, a couple of playmakers like Roundtree and Beatty, but if you're able to, slow them down a little bit, they're going to struggle scoring.
Oh, absolutely. And what's crazy, too, about this team, they're not they shouldn't be good this year. They could be 3-1, potentially 4-0 coming into this Tennessee game.
Yeah.
Because it's Central Arkansas, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, then Eastern Michigan. South Carolina I don't see them losing to Vandy. They're bad, but I don't see them losing to Vandy. I think South Carolina is probably a game they're looking at. They do travel to South Carolina. That hurts them. South Carolina does have more returning both offensively and defensively than Missouri. But I've got to imagine they're looking at that as a swing game. And I think they're probably looking at Tennessee. Tennessee is a swing game just because there are a lot of unknowns for Tennessee.
Yeah,
maybe not concerns, but unknowns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some guys are going to have to step up and replace the production that some of those seniors had last year. But with the South Carolina game, at least you get to see them play like a decent defense. Muschamp's going to have a decent defense, so you at least get to see kind of what they're about before Tennessee plays them. So we'll see.
It definitely looks good for Tennessee going into this game. I think it helps. We talk about some of those unknowns, the defensive line. It's probably a bigger unknown for Missouri at offensive line. They lost 3 starters to a line that wasn't good.
Yeah.
At least second half of the season they weren't good. So
maybe that's a good thing for them. We have to replace them, but they weren't that good anyway.
Yeah, I guess that is if you're looking at the bright side of that. And then defensively, they didn't have much of a pass rush.
No, I think they're dead last in the SEC in sacks and dead last in turnovers.
Yeah, they had almost a non-existent pass rush, which is evident in Tennessee's record-setting game against them later, in November last year. This is a game you should win. Yeah. Tennessee should be on above 500 after this game, going into, I don't know who we play the week after, off the top of my head, but Missouri's not going to be a great football team. You get them in Neyland. You do get to see them against South Carolina. Yes, they get to see you against Oklahoma and Florida at that point. But I don't think there's any reason. You should have your quarterback situation figured out by now.
Oh, yeah.
One of the biggest questions on your team. I highly doubt they have it figured out by now. Just because we're looking at, as Tennessee's looking at Jarrett Garantano, a 5th-year senior, 3rd-year starter, I guess, or a 5-star quarterback. 4-star, depending on who you look at.
Yep.
But whatever. I feel like the unknown's way less for Tennessee at the quarterback position than Missouri. So I think you have one team who could have a quarterback, probably should have a quarterback situation figured out, and one that's probably just scraping the surface of it.
Yeah, you look at they lose Jordan Elliott, but they have Nick Bolton, who I think was the guy who came in last year and was All SEC,
Yeah,
and he's projected to be a first-round draft pick next year.
Yeah, so that was the guy who replaced Garrett.
Yeah,
that was him.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like your only playmaker on defense is Nick Bolton. And if I'm Jim Chaney and you're not getting a pass rush and you're not able to get turnovers, I mean, I'm licking my chops. I'm like, hey, offensive line, let's go have a freaking field day.
I think they're replacing both of their corners. I don't think they return either of their corners, and I think their safeties are returning.
Okay.
So I think even then you're looking at a secondary that I don't know what that talent looks behind. Like, I don't know what the experience looks like that played last year. That kind of filled in at the twos, but you at least lost your two best guys probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say Missouri's probably a lower to middle tier SEC team. They probably are better than Vanderbilt, probably better than Arkansas. So that's at least 2 SEC wins they'll probably get. But if you switch out Arkansas and Alabama on their schedule, they pretty much have a Tennessee schedule from last year. It's pretty much identical. They play BYU, and then they play Mississippi State, and then of course the rest of the East schedule.
Holy man, think about having to play Mississippi. Like, I would much rather play Mississippi State last year than this year.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they're going to give you
there's a lot of unknowns, but that offense is going to be pretty good.
They're going to score, especially they're playing them later in the year. They're going to have some things clicking. They'll have a little bit figured out. I would hate for a team that doesn't seem to have. They're not going to have the ability to at least score quickly because you're looking at your two best players both being running backs. I would hate to be playing a team that their only goal is to score as fast as they can. Yeah,
I mean the season it looks good for Missouri because like you get a break after. So you get a break after Kentucky. So before Mississippi State, they have a bye. Where's their other bye?
They might not have 2 byes, or do they have one? Do they have 2?
I guess that is their only bye.
We only have one. Tennessee only has 1 this year. So.
Yeah. I guess that's it. But it's kind of split up. So they have like South Carolina and Tennessee, and then they have BYU, and then Georgia, and then Kentucky, Mississippi State, Florida. So like Tennessee, Florida, and Georgia are kind of all like split up. You don't have to play them back to back to back. They don't have a freaking gauntlet that we have to go through every year.
That's good. I expect them to finish probably 6th in the East though.
Yeah, I mean they're probably 6-6, 7-5.
Yeah, I can't imagine. They could finish above South Carolina, but I doubt it.
No, I doubt it too.
That's the only team. I think it's going to go from bottom to top: Vanderbilt, Missouri, South Carolina, Kentucky.
Yep.
So
I agree.
Some way, maybe you can mix up Missouri to Kentucky somewhere. I think Kentucky probably finishes above both of those teams, South Carolina, Missouri. But
yep, I'm licking my chops for that defense. I mean, Garantano was National Player of the Week.
Yeah.
So they made him look like a freaking Heisman candidate.
300 and something yards that game.
400.
400.
Yeah.